Pastel Bloc, Antifa's Rainbow Front.
Ooh, Scotty.
This is the Pastel Bloc. They are a colorful rendering of the Black Bloc. The Black Bloc are these people, who are more or less Antifa.
Got the Black Bloc people out in force. They just showed up a couple of minutes ago, completely changed the tone of the demonstration, what had been largely peaceful, into much more of an aggressive and confrontational situation. And now we see the protesters, led by the Black Bloc group, starting to make a move directly on the Martin Luther King Jr. student complex, where the talk is taking place. There goes another rock. Look, the protesters are starting to throw things, as you're seeing. The police are backing off. My understanding from UC is that they, rather than risk any kind of problems or any safety issue, they will shut it down if that's what it requires. But as you can see, they're starting to throw flammables up onto the second floor. Some of them have gone off, some of them haven't. The question is whether the crowd is going to move in to confront the police.
Now, in case you don't know, they're not attacking an empty building. They're attacking a building with humans inside. No, not just police. Students. No, not Nazis. We're talking Asian students, other people of color, maybe even people who disagree with the speaker they came to see and want to debate him. And what they are doing right there is trying to get at those people to physically attack them, like they have already done on this day multiple times.
And now they've just taken off the floodlights, and they're going for the last barrier between the protesters and the student union. So that's the situation we're in right now. Police have stepped back. They're back over here towards the entrance. They're not being confrontational. Nobody's going out to confront the crowd.
Oh, and isn't it wonderful how the police are standing back as per the orders by their mayor and allowing these Black Bloc people to attack a building with students inside. The police even stood by and watched them beat people, as per orders by the mayor of Berkeley. These are violent people. You can even see them on video earlier this day beating an unconscious body. Don't believe me? Here it is. Quick little note, folks, this should go without saying, but apparently it doesn't go without saying. I am not a right-winger, I am not a Trump supporter, I am not a racist, etc. I'm coming from a place of peace, love, freedom, and equality. Please see my disclaimer video, for which there is a link at the end of this video and in the description below. Okay, so can I move on now without you thinking I'm some sort of white nationalist, racist, neo-Nazi, KKK, literally Hitler?
Started now, they're moving and running up against and throwing things into, trying to break into the place. Well, and now there goes the floodlights. They're knocking over the floodlights. They're trying to tear those down as well, trying to pull them over.
Well, and at some point,
as you can see,
public
the protest
safety
right up here is cutting the restraints on these.
Right, and at some point, police are going to have to decide if public safety.
Here goes another one. The barricades are now being used as weapons. Alan, the barricades, you can see now they're using them as battering rams and setting off fireworks and battering rams as they're trying to go right into the building itself.
It's funny, these cops, taking tax money to protect and serve, yet they're only protecting and serving their own interests here. So your tax money's been wasted.
And also, isn't that betrayal?
Yep.
I mean, for a cop to allow somebody to be beaten in front of them, and to allow people to storm a building to attack people, to stand back and let that happen, is a betrayal. And it's probably illegal. Now, we can blame the mayor of Berkeley for this. Not to say that this is only going on in Berkeley. No. This is going on in many other cities as well. But every cop that follows bad orders is guilty. So yeah, these cops are standing back, letting these terrorists do whatever they want, and then these people have the gall to turn around and say the cops are with the KKK, or the cops are racist, or morons. These people are fucking morons. So yes, these people are trying to remove the barriers so that they can enter a building named after Martin Luther King Jr., by the way, to commit acts of violence. This is the Black Bloc. The Pastel Bloc are just a spin or a subsection of these people. In fact, they all use the same symbol, which, by the way, we have found in graffiti form near our campus. As you can see in my videos and in many other videos, Antifa claims to fight fascism, but are themselves fascists who just don't have a lot of power. Failed fascists. With a quick glance at the dictionary, it seems that technically speaking, they are not actually fascists, because according to the dictionary, fascists want nationalist control. And these people do tend to be anti-nationalist. However, they are globalists. They do want a nation, just one nation, not many nations. So actually, they are fascists. The nation that they want to be loyal to is a global nation. So technically speaking, and in spirit alike, they are fascists who just don't have state power. Essentially, they are would-be fascists of the far left who are in competition with would-be fascists of the far right. Well, at least in Europe and other places, but not in the USA. But whether they are European or American, Antifa and Black Bloc members, as we can see in my videos and many other people's videos, do horrible things. They attack innocent people, including women, children, differently abled people, immigrants, gay people, and now transgender people, and so on. For example, as we saw in one of my recent videos, link in the description to this video, in Sweden in 2011 they teamed up with jihadist terrorists and threw bombs at Swedish citizens in public as the Swedish police let them do it.
When Israel played Sweden in a Davis Cup tennis match in Malmö, an estimated 6,000 leftists, Arabs, Muslims, and anarchists protested the Israeli presence in the city, and many attacked police. Almost no fans were allowed inside to watch the tennis series because authorities feared disruptions or violence. Peaceful pro-Israeli demonstrations in Malmö, like the ones during the Gaza war earlier this year, were met with rocks, bottles, and pipe bombs from Arabs and leftists.
The police allowed these, say, 100 Palestinians or Arabs to shout and threaten and throw bombs and rockets at us. A homemade bomb landed about 10 yards from me, went off with a big bang, and I thought, well, now the police, of course, is going to jump these guys, get them out of the way. They didn't. Just let them stand there.
I filmed the police chief and asked him why are they not reacting to this, why are they not doing anything, and he simply answered, it's their right according to the Swedish constitution to be there. We apparently did not have the same right because we were forced out of there. So,
as we saw in my video Regressive Left Terrorists versus Civil Rights, they were allowed to attack people in Sacramento, California, in the United States of America. They were allowed to violate the civil liberties of both racists and non-racists alike with the assistance of the police. And again, on March 4th, they were allowed to be violent at the Martin Luther King Civic Center Park, at the Peace Wall, of all places. The point is that Antifa, the Black Bloc, and BAMN, by the way, are horrible domestic terrorists. Yes, by definition, they are in fact terrorists. The definition of terrorism is the use of force or the threat of the use of force to make people meet socio-political demands. That is what they do. So, they are terrorists and fascists without state power.
Shit. They're beating the hell out of people here. This guy just got beat. He just got beat. Hey man, why are they attacking you?
Because they're fascists. Antifa, fascists.
Did you say anything? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Huh.
They attacked me, they stroked me in the head, they striked me in the head. They're fascists. They claim to be Antifa, anti-fascist. They're fascists.
And these Pastel Bloc people are with them. They are very blatantly and proudly anti-liberty. For example, they are against freedom of speech and the freedom to peaceably assemble. So back to these colorful clowns, I mean, anti-fascists. There's not a lot to be found about these people on the internet other than their pretty vague Twitter and Facebook accounts. It does seem that their first appearance in public as the Pastel Bloc was on March 4th, 2017, in Berkeley at the Martin Luther King Civic Center Park, where they did in fact assist the Black Bloc, Antifa, and BIMN in violating people's civil liberties and physically attacking people, including older people, weaker people, adolescents, immigrants, and a transgender person. According to this East Bay Times article on March 4th, quote, another group with pink masks carried shields with 3 arrows on them, calling themselves the Pastel Bloc, and said they were there to counter any violence from Black Bloc protesters. This article was updated on March 14th at 3:45 p.m. to say, quote, correction, an earlier version of this story referred to the Pastel Bloc as countering Black Bloc's violence. A more accurate characterization would be that they are countering the notion that masked protesters are all violent, unquote. A bit redundant, but there you have it. So why am I telling you this? What's the relevancy here? Well, this is bullshit. They were not there to counter any violence, either from the Black Bloc or just from mass protesters in general, which is pretty much a ridiculous story. Now, out of the many hours of video that I've seen of this event, I have not seen anybody wearing the Pastel Bloc clothing engaging in violence. In fact, the Pastel Bloc people can be seen just standing there allowing violence to happen, not engaging in it and not countering it. However, either the Pastel Bloc had their shields stolen by the Black Bloc, not very likely, or they lent their shields to the Black Bloc, or they just changed into black clothing. Now I have to wonder, did he take the shield from them, or did he borrow it? Oh, wait a minute, look here. This guy in black uses the shield in fights in these videos. Now I said that this is the first time that the Pastel Bloc appeared as such. It does seem that at least two of these people, this one right here, and that one right there, appeared in Berkeley on February 1st at the first riot against free speech in Berkeley. These two, right here. These two are amongst this group of people who carried these shields here. Now, are all these people holding these shields the same people that were holding the Pastel Bloc shields? I don't know. But it does seem like we are dealing with blatant liars. These people on February 1st at Berkeley did in fact assist and engage in violence and destruction. These Pastel Bloc people here in Berkeley on March 4th did nothing to stop any violence, and at the very best, they allowed their shields to be taken from them to be used by Black Bloc people for violence. It reminds me of imperialist weapons ending up in the hands of small terrorist regimes and whatnot. Oh, we don't know how they got our weapons. We didn't sell them any weapons. Oh no, they somehow stole it from us. Yeah, that's the ticket. We don't know how the Black Bloc ended up with our Pastel Bloc shields. They just sort of somehow got it, and that's not us under those black clothing. No, no, no. We're the Pastel Bloc. We're here to oppose violence, so we stand around and not oppose violence. Sure. That's believable to biased idiots. It seems that they're going for plausible deniability. In other words, it seems like they're trying to make it so that they can say, hey, look, we're not all violent. Some of us are here to oppose violence. Except that they did nothing to convince people of that fact. And I predict that soon we will find video of them actually engaging in violence while actually dressed up as the Pastel Bloc. I could be wrong about this, and I hope I am, but unfortunately, I don't think I am. Like I said, I have not caught these people on video actually engaging in violence as the Pastel Bloc while in the Pastel Bloc clothing. However, a BuzzFeed reporter, while not actually capturing it on video, did witness it. Listen to what he has to say right here.
The man with the bike was just thrown down to the ground by anti-Trump protesters. It seems to me that he's a Trump supporter, although it's unclear at this point. The man with the pink and blue shield in all black is a member of the Antifa.
I just noticed something in the course of making this video. Look at this one. Look at her glasses. Look at her shape. Now look at this one. Her shape and her glasses. They seem to be the same color. So it is plausible that at least one of them changed into black clothing. It seems that they also attended the Gender Strike March in San Francisco on March 8th, 2017.
Hold on! We have new developments. Justin Anti-Theist has gone undercover again.
On the Facebook and Twitter accounts of either the Pastel Bloc or some party that claims to be them, we have the following. Quote, the disorganization That's a bit of a clever play on words, I'll give them that, except that they actually are not disorganized, they are an organization. It's funny to see how many of these millennials claim to be anarchists when they're actually authoritarian and are generally anti-individualistic in their collectivism. Let's start again. Quote, the disorganization, Pastel Bloc, has been made aware that reporter Aaron Davis of the East Bay Times misquoted our intentions as countering violence from Black Bloc protesters. We love Black Bloc. XOXOXOXOXO. WTF. We never said any such thing. Our direct action was to shield medics caring for injured comrades, protecting them from cameras. Our Pastel Bloc medic helped comrades, including Black Bloc, who were pepper sprayed by Trump supporters. Notice how they omit the fact that they actually used a lot of pepper spray themselves, as well as patching up head wounds from Trump supporters wielding weapons. How biased can you get? Folks, watch my video called Fuck Free Speech and see that these people, the Black Bloc people, not only outnumber the Trump people who are actually pro-free speech people, but also greatly outarmed them. These people showed up with weapons to attack the Trump/free speech supporters. Alright, back to the quote. We may dress in pastels, but we believe in fashion, not fascism. Bullshit. You people are rainbow fascists. In other words, you're fascism dressed up in a rainbow of tolerance, but you're really all about intolerance. Back to the quote, and intend to continue to support Antifa efforts in the ongoing resistance. So according to this, they support Antifa. But we've already seen that they use the Antifa symbol, so that wasn't very much in doubt in the first place. But here we have them actually saying it. So they support Antifa, and as we've seen, Antifa are terrorists, so they support terrorists. So of course we're not sure that this is actually coming from the Pastel Bloc. But either way, did they tell the East Bay Times that they oppose Antifa's violence? Or did they tell the East Bay Times that they were there to counter, quote, the idea that all mass protesters are violent, unquote? Either way, it's not very convincing after we've seen what we've seen in this video. Or do they love Antifa? And what the hell is their purpose? Do they even know? Is it just for attention? If we are to go by this, I guess they're there to lend medical attention only to their comrades, and to show people that mass protesters can be fashionable. To say you are fashionable is to imply that you are au courant. In other words, you're current. You are aware, as in hip. You are hip to the trends going on. You are fashionable. You have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in Milan and Paris, etc. Sorry, although colorful, you're not quite fashionable. This has nothing to do with what's going on in the fashion world currently. Although I wouldn't be surprised if fashion people start taking notes from Antifa and Black Bloc and socialist symbolism. Look out for that kind of bullshit coming from the fashion world soon, folks. But that's all superficial stuff anyway. Moving on. So, do these rainbow fascists even know what the hell they are? I attempted to ask them myself. But you know how these fragile snowflake millennial SJWs can be. Trying to have an honest conversation with them about anything that they're even the slightest bit uncomfortable with is like trying to coax a wild squirrel into your hand. They are liable to retreat into a safe space, block you, and report you at the drop of a hat. So I have to step softly so as to not trigger their hairpin triggers and scare off the little critters. I established contact with them on Facebook on March 20th, 2017, with this message, quote, I have heard conflicting things about you. People love to lie about you. I don't believe any of the lies they tell about you. So, let me ask you directly, what is the Pastel Bloc all about? Thanks. Unquote. It should be obvious that I'm just sort of buttering them up here. The Pastel Bloc, or party pretending to be them, responded, quote, well, as per our Twitter, we are a group of masked Antifas who choose to wear pastels so we can more easily be spotted to offer Medicaid, media blocking, and other nonviolent aid. We support those who are Black Bloc. Though we do not use the same tactics, we believe it takes many approaches. We hope to serve the rebellion as a distraction to get cameras on us and not Black Bloc or unmasked protesters who are more at risk for surveillance/doxing. We encourage people to wear masks, and as we are friendly, we get to help people understand why masking is a safety approach, to stay fed and hydrated, remember this hydration thing later, and to pet more fuzzy animals. Remember the fuzzy animal thing later. So they do have somewhat of a sense of humor, that's kinda cute. An actual mission statement and manifesto are in the works, unquote. I responded, quote, thanks for the response. So, do you engage in violence or not? Unquote. They responded, quote, as a group, we haven't and don't seek to. I I think that may be a lie. If someone comes trying to stab us or hit us first, we defend ourselves though. Unquote. I responded, quote, do you voluntarily lend your shields to the Black Bloc? Unquote. They responded, quote, the best way to see our work and what we do/don't do is to see us in action at a protest. Rainbow hearts, unquote. I responded, quote, yes, thanks, but not all of us have the economic privilege. You see that I'm using their kryptonite. PC language used against them is their kryptonite. But not all of us have the economic privilege to travel to these events. As a differently abled Native American, this is actually not a lie, folks. I do not have the same luxuries as some other people. So let me ask again, do you voluntarily lend your fabulous shields to the Black Bloc? Unquote. They respond, quote, some pastels have done that before, unquote. Yes, we know, we've seen it on video. They also responded, quote, some pastels have done that before, unquote. Yes, we know. We have you in our eye. We know. And then, being the fragile little hairpin trigger snowflakes that they are, they responded, quote, you may understand how this comes across a bit like a public interrogation in a public sphere that works with cops. That could put us, and maybe you too, at risk though, right? So if you have more queries, we'd suggest asking via DMing our Twitter at Pastel Bloc. Thanks! Unquote. I responded, quote, okay, thanks! Unquote. They responded, quote, no problem, heart, unquote. I responded, quote, stay fabulous! They responded, quote, you too, and drink more water, unquote. They like to keep people hydrated, I guess. So on Twitter, I contacted these people, whoever they are, Pastel Bloc or pretenders, and I said, quote, I agree that self-defense and defense of the innocent is good and necessary. Do you know anything about the fabulous folks with the tall shields at UC Berkeley with the tall shields? Sorry about that, folks. I didn't mean to type that twice. That said, quote, trans dykes are good and pure, unquote. Also, what if I wanted to start a chapter in my area? I'm eager to see your mission statement and manifesto. I already have some fab friends in my area who are interested. But of course, we want to make sure that we agree with you folks. Unquote. They responded, quote, we know of each other, yeah. We work together sometimes. Unquote. Maybe it's more like you are them. Quote, and yeah, we definitely want other folks to start up their own pastel blocks. We wanted to test it first, and see if we get targeted for violence from Nazis or cops. Okay folks, let's pause for a minute here. You may be wondering what the hell. Well, these people, they think Nazis lurk behind every rock and tree. They think the cops are the KKK. Even though the cops pretty much let them do almost anything they want to do. Yes, they're paranoid and delusional. Okay, back to the message. Quote, but no, they think we're super naive. They think we're super naive and leave us alone to do our work, which is rad. Thanks for understanding our hesitancy with Facebook. Surveillance is no joke. Smiley face. We'll ping you when we have the mission statement and manifesto ready. We plan to keep it light and a little silly. Because we found that misdirection and seeming cute have helped us get into the fray to give medical care and help people out of being assaulted without cop intervention in the past. You mean helping only your comrades from being assaulted. We'd rather maintain that and let people believe we don't know what we're doing. Okay, listen, you little rainbow totalitarians. You little rainbow bright white knights riding in on rainbow colored My Little Ponies. You little Powerpuff fascists. You cute vicious little pastel monsters. It seems pretty obvious that you don't know what you're doing. You're certainly not fighting for social justice. You're certainly not battling Nazis. You certainly are not doing the right thing or the wise thing. You are not being altruistic. You are not acting with honor. And you are not helping. You are ruining the left. You are even further discrediting liberalism. Even if you believe, as many of your Antifa comrades believe, that liberals get the bullet too, the public associates you with liberals, and therefore you further discredit liberalism. And by the way, folks, notice that when it comes down to it, these people are actually anti-liberal. The actual definition of liberal is its principles. The most fundamental of these principles are liberty, in other words, freedom, as in civil rights, and equality, in other words, civil rights. These people are anti-free speech and proud of it, therefore they are anti-liberty, and they do not want civil rights for those they disagree with. Hence, they do not believe in equality, and therefore they are against the core principles of liberalism. They are making the left and liberalism look even worse than it already does. But I digress. Okay, back to the exchange. I responded, quote, "Thanks for the response. Do you have any idea when the charter and manifesto may be released?" Unquote. They respond, quote, "By May 1st is the goal." Unquote. I responded, quote, "Great. Will you post it here on Twitter?" Unquote. And they responded, quote, "Yup." Unquote. So there you have it, folks. Not wanting to scare away the little fragile snowflakes, I didn't proceed any further than that so far. At this point, I'm trying to decide if I should play it off really cool and calm and let them let me open up a chapter, in which case I guess I'll be an undercover agent or something, or if I should ask them what are to me some very obvious questions. Like the following question which I asked them this morning, which is, quote, "Before showing up to confront a group of fascists/racists/etc., what process do you use and what standards/principles do you apply to determine if they are fascist/racist/etc.?" Unquote. So what was their response to this question? Well, sorry folks, that will have to be the subject of another video.
Ooh, cliffhanger.
So be sure to subscribe and click that little bell icon, and that way you'll know when I have a new video out. Thanks to my executive producer and love of my life, Tabitha, who helped me with this video. Thanks to all of my audience. Peace, love, freedom, and equality, everyone.